Alrighty, so I'm going to be completely honest. I was actually thinking about this being an IGTV, which is why I wasn't talking in this video. But then I realized I don't have a video to post tonight, so here we are turning an IGTV into a YouTube video. My apologies. So you see that I started off with the uh, Mayron, I was gonna say Makeup by Mario, the Mayron face paint palette and went in with the blue, and I'm just kind of creating like an ombre effect here, using some blue eyeshadow and of course blue face paint. As you can see, I wrote it up there because I was trying to do an IGTV. The writing's gonna stop in a few moments. I'm sorry. So I'm just trying to create this ombre blue water effect. It's turned out pretty cute. I'm pretty proud of it. I saw this look on Pinterest, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, I can definitely create that. Yeah, no, this took like 7 hours. Yeah, I underestimated it, and as much as I love how it turned out, like it did turn out pretty good. Stay tuned in the end. Stay tuned to the end. Um, I underestimated how long this would take, and drawing frogs, whoa, that's hard. And the frog pads or whatever they're called, lily pads. Wow. Um, yeah, it has been a day, so bear with me. I promise tomorrow's video will hopefully be better. So I'm now connecting that to the shoulders. I'm not going to be doing like a full blue body paint. This is only going to be on the sides. So like on my shoulders, side of my necks, side of my neck. I only have one. Um, as you can see by my face, this was a lengthy process and it kind of hurt. Like having to circular motion blend and have it be like an ombre effect. Because what I did is I didn't like the light blue face paint compared to the darker blue. So I took a lighter blue eyeshadow and blended that over top of the face paint into the darker blue. And I liked that ombre a lot better, especially when the frogs and the lily pads and all the other stuff started coming together. But then I realized I didn't like how small I put everything, so I kind of tried to drag it down, but yeah. Also, I covered a lot of the process with the mirror, so I'm sorry, and hopefully you can get the gist. So we are going back in with the Mayron, going in with that beautiful green, and starting on the lily pads. That's what they're called, right? Lily pads? Sure. These were a lot harder to draw than I thought they would, and a lot of them ended up looking more like half-eaten pies, or I guess not even half-eaten. That's not half. Like they looked like a pie more than a lily pad. I guess it's been a while since I've seen a lily pad, but I also think they turned out really cute. So what I started is just outlining. I did bigger ones, smaller ones, just did them randomly. Um, the bigger ones I kind of kept closer to the bottom of the shoulders and then worked my way up with the smaller ones just for a little bit of, I don't know, contrast or something like that. And then I went and filled them in with that same green that I outlined them. And I went back in with the Norvina palette, the same one that I did my eyes with. Um, now, I did my eyes for a separate video, which is why that tutorial is not in this video. I actually have no idea what tutorial I did these eyes in, to be honest. I'll try and find it and I'll link it down below. Oh boy. So yeah, I filled in the lily pads, which took forever because I don't know what my mind was thinking, but I filled them in with a tiny brush. I could have easily picked up a different brush, but nope. Nope. So once those were all filled in, I went back in with that Norvina palette and took the green shade and just kind of packed that onto the lily pads because I didn't want to like blend it and have like a blended motion. I wanted it to really have that dimension of being packed on there, just to kind of give it a little bit of a wave, a little bit of imperfection kind of thing. But see, I'm using a tiny brush. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So once that was done, then I also went back in with that Norvina palette and took the deeper blue, mixed it a teensy bit with the green, and I started to shade in around the lily pads, as you can see in a second. So apparently we actually start the flowers before I do the shading. Oops. So with the flowers, I just went in with that pink Mehron face paint and kind of spotted out where I wanted the flowers, and then I took white face paint. This is an aqua liner, and I just sporadically drew lines out of where I put the dot, just making them really messy, just making them really spiky, and not really having any sort of pattern with it. Just as you can see, I'm just flicking out the brush to give it that nice, spiky, sporadic look. And then I go back in with the pink, um, retouch the middle, and then eventually I will be going in with a white aqua line, no, a yellow aqua liner, and adding some little details with this. But I took one of like the flat brushes, like this is a paintbrush that I'm using, and it's just a small flat brush, and I just used the fine line tip thing, the edge, to create these spikes. And here we go in with the yellow, and I'm just adding dots to the middle of each flower to create the little, I don't know, what are they called? Pollination beds? Flower beds? Flower middles? I really need to educate myself. So then I'm going in with the Lime Crime white eyeliner and just doing some detailing. So you can see that now the lily pads have been shaded, and I'm just adding highlights to them wherever I think that the sun would hit and there'll be a little bit of shine. I do the same with the eyeliner around all the like the blue water parts to kind of create like ripples in the water. Um, and then I also add a little bit of the white liner to my eye because I'm just having some fun with it, you know? Got a little carried away, but I think it looked really cute. I really think that this, like adding the eyeliner brought this look to life and really gave it that dimension and that 3D look that I was going for. And we are about to start on the frog, so bear with me. So before we start on the frog, we are going in with the black just to add a little bit more dimension, a little bit more of a 3D look, just going right into each lily pad, and just outlining the open part with black, and then doing a little bit of that shading again with the same blue/green mixture that we made. Also, you have no idea how annoyed that my backdrop fell and I didn't even notice, and you are now seeing my wall. I'm very angry about that, and I don't think I'm ever going to recover from that. Um, yeah, I am traumatized. So here you can see that I'm creating that ripple effect, but just like see with those like little dots and then just random swooshy lines, it looks a lot like ripple effect, and I think that it looks really cool. So here we're starting on the frog. So the frog inspiration is also from the photo, and all I'm doing is starting off with the outline. I'm just drawing line by line of what the frog looks like, starting with the eyes, and then I went for the body, and now I'm doing the legs. Surprisingly, doing it this way instead of just doing one big outline was a lot easier of just piecing it together and doing bit by bit. I think it turned out a lot better than I thought it would, and I'm pretty proud of myself for this. So once I finished outlining the frog, I went back in with that green aqua light, no, green face paint, and filled in the frog. Okay, this time I won't bully myself for using the tiny brush because it makes sense. And I mean, this brush is a little bit bigger, so it's fine. It's better. So we filled in the brush completely. We got interrupted by my mother, which is why I started talking. Anyways, so I filled in the frog, and then right after I filled in the frog, I went back in with that green eyeshadow that we used for all of the shading and started shading the frog. So I shaded where his arms would be to give it a little bit of like that depth, because I mean, frogs are not flat. At least the ones I have seen are not flat. Um, so we outlined his body, shaded around the body to give that 3D effect like he's sitting on my face. Shaded his legs so that it really looked like they were bent and not just like a flat leg altogether. And then shaded in where his eyes are. So here you can see that I'm shading around his body. I'm going in with like a big brush just to again do that like messy shading. And then I go in with a teensier brush, teensier, tinier, smaller, I don't know, to get in those details. So like his toes, shading around where the shadows of his knee bends and leg bends would be, and his arms, making sure that where his arms connect, there's a little bit of that depth shadow thing around his eye socket, because one eye socket is going to be more sunken in than the other side because he's got like the raised eyes. I don't know whatever they're called, but his eyelids are raised. So we shaded that. And then we just added some fun textures around him because he is a cool looking frog. So to add those textures, I went back in with that white eyeliner from Lime Crime and just added some highlights wherever I think that the highlight of the sun would hit him. I added some black detailing, some just black dots everywhere, or I guess spaced out, and with his eyes and anywhere that I think that would need an extra bit of shading, I added a little bit of the black face paint, dotted out his eyes, and then I added the lippy, and this is the Lime Crime Rustic Red, Red Rustic? Rustic Red? Rustic New? I don't know, rustic something. And here's the final look. I'm so sorry for this voiceover. I hope you at least enjoyed the look. And thank you so much for watching. And oh yeah, subscribe to the channel, join the family. All my socials will be linked down below. Thank you for watching an IGTV turn into a YouTube video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for an actual YouTube video. Bye!